Erev Tov, Rabbi. In Am Yisrael, it says, right, the Talmud says that all the Jewish people, Kol Yisrael Yeshem Chelek Olam Haba. It says in the Pirkei Avot. Why do I tell you this? Because the truth is, they say that even the simple Jews, Amei Aratzot, who are not so learned, they're not so educated, Meleim mitzvot karimon. They're full of mitzvot like a pomegranate, Right? They're full of mitzvot. So that's why, Kol Yisrael Yeshem Chelek Olam Haba. They all have a portion in the world to come. That's what the Chazal tell us. We all do mitzvot. But the truth is, there's a big difference between one and the other. Yes, we all do, but the question is, what's your kavanah? What's your intention? Right? What's in your head when you do the mitzvot? So says the Zohar Kadosh, it's divided up into three categories. One is a person, does mitzvot. This is a simple guy, right? This is the most simple Jew. He does mitzvot. Why? What's his motivation? To get rewarded olam hazeh, he wants to go to 47th Street and get nice reward, get some good parnasah, He wants to have a nice house, nice car, good vacations. He wants to have a good life, right? So this is not really such a good level, if your person is on this level doing mitzvot because of this. It's not really l'shem shamayim. So therefore, says in the Zohar Kadosh, the Shekhinah doesn't dwell with a person like this, He's not connected to the Shekhinah. Not really, This is a very simple guy with very simple intentions. Not l'shem shamayim so much. So this is like the lowest level, of doing mitzvot. That he wants reward in olam hazeh. He wants to have wealth, honor, right? And that's why the Chazal said, right? This is written in the Mishlei, right? What does it say there? Orech yamin b'mina u'b'smola osher v'chavod. Right? This is what it says in the Mishlei. What does this mean? It's talking about the Torah, right? What's the reward of the Torah? So on the right side of the Torah, orech yamin b'mina, right? What is orech yamin? Long life, longevity, right? On the right side of the Torah, there's longevity, long life. Everybody wants that. We all want that. Ubesmola osher v'chavod. On the left side, there's wealth and kavod. So now, the question is like this, right? Why does it say this is on the right side and this is on the left side? So some of the Chachamim explain like this, that the right side is the side of the chesed, right? The good side. So what does that mean? On that side is orech yamin. That's l'shem shamayim. Why is it l'shem shamayim to have a long life? It's l'shem shamayim to have a long life? This is a good thing to know. So it says Zohar Kadosh, when it says l'shem shamayim, orech yamin, it's not talking about in this world. It's talking about olam haba. He'll have olam haba, orech yamin. Longer life over there. Very, very, very long. Right? Forever. Everlasting life. Orech yamin b'mina. Ubismola osher v'chavod. The small, right, on the other hand, if you guys want to talk, maybe you can go outside. You want to go outside and talk? You interested? No. Okay, so please, try to stay quiet because it bothers me. You're interrupting. So, as I said, right, that on the left side, osher v'chavod. So, why left side? Left side, as we know, right, is the side of the din, side of the sitra achra, not so good. So that's not l'shem shamayim. Osher v'chavod. That's why, it says about things which are olam hazeh. Osher, wealth, kavod, honor, right? Everybody wants these things in olam hazeh. So the left side, if you're not learning l'shem shamayim, then what do they give you? Reward for the Torah? Osher v'chavod, something in olam hazeh. On the right side, orech yamin. What does that mean? Olam haba, which is the longest life, goes forever. If you're on the right side, if you're on the good side of the Torah. So if you're learning l'shem shamayim, you get this. If you're learning not l'shem shamayim, you get that on the left side. That's what you get. Understand? Osher v'chavod. Right, that's what we're saying. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? We're talking about a person like this. He's learning on the left side. So what does that mean? Even if he comes, let's say, right, they are in classes, right, all over the place. Daf Yomi, right? They learn Gemara every day, right? One daf of Gemara. Every day you learn one daf. So what happens is a lot of people come there, who are working. They're workers, right? Balabatim. And they come, for half hour to hear the rabbi, say over the daf. You know what I mean? So it's good, everybody profits from this, right? The rabbi does zikui rabim, and on the other hand, right, this balabait comes and gets Torah from the rabbi every day, one daf of a Gemara. So this kind of learning, is it really l'shem shamayim though? This kind of thing, it's not really l'shem shamayim. Why? Because this guy, this balabait who's working all day, he finishes his job 6, 7 o'clock, in the evening, and then he eats dinner, comes home, eats dinner, and goes to Daf Yomi class. Something like this, right? So he's not really doing L'Shem Shamayim. What does that mean? He doesn't really understand so good the Gemara. The rabbi just gives him a spoon feed, Here, let me give you, take, right? One more spoon. But he doesn't really understand himself, this Gemara, so good. The rabbi's just giving it to him, as like a, you give your child, something to eat. That's not L'Shem Shamayim so much. So people like this, you see, that's the thing, People who are learning like this, not so L'Shem Shamayim, their reward comes in Olam Hazeh. Osher v'chavod, they get rich, You see people, right, by the way, who are learning Daf Yomi, they're coming, and learning every day. And, sometimes you don't realize, but this guy, he's a millionaire, milliardaire, good God knows how much money he's making, They don't tell you, by the way, these people, especially with the Ashkenazim, they keep everything quiet, They come, they dress normal, they don't drive fancy cars, They don't live fancy, they don't look fancy, but they're learning Torah, and they have a lot of money, but they don't show. They don't show their money. You know what I mean? But they have a lot. Why? In the zchut of what? Because they're learning Torah, but it's not L'Shem Shamayim so much. So therefore they're getting the reward in Olam Hazeh. That's the lowest level. Right? And they get also something in Olam Haba, right? Kol Yisrael, yesh lehem chelek Olam Haba. Everybody has a chelek. So they have also chelek. They have a portion. But not the highest level. Lower level. There's two different levels, by the way, There's yesh lo chelek Olam Haba, he has chelek Olam Haba, and there's also who ben ha'olam haba. Ben ha'olam haba. What's the difference between this and that? Right? So chelek means, you've got a portion, you got something there. You got an apartment, in Regal Park somewhere, you got an apartment. You got a chelek there, you got something there, right? You got your own little apartment there, your little dwelling place over there. You got something there, But ben ha'olam haba is a different level. Right? So what does that mean? Ben ha'olam haba means, right? That what? That everything is his, He can go anywhere he wants. Everything belongs to him. Everything, he's eligible for everything, right? He has a pass, entry to every place. He can go anywhere he wants. So he's ben olam haba. What does that mean? He's a VIP in olam haba. That's not the same thing, right? So what is it? What does it say, right? Kol hashoneh halachot hu ben ha'olam haba. That's what it says. We learn this every day, right? In the tefillah we say. So what does that mean? When you learn halachot, what does that mean, halachot? Like to learn kitzur books, this is mutar, this is asur, This is mutar, this is asur. That's not what we're talking about over there, halachot. We're talking about deep halachot, Learning the Bet Yosef, Shulchan Aruch, Noseh Kelim, Achronim, Mishnah Brura, Yebi Omer, right? The Chazon Ovadia, you're learning a lot of stuff there, halachot, depth, with all the sources and everything. So a person who learns halacha like that, he's ben olam haba. He can go anywhere he wants, because he's got carte blanche, VIP. It's not the same level. Different level altogether. So yes, there is chelek olam haba, Kol Yisrael. Everybody has chelek olam haba, but there is ben olam haba. That's something else, different level. So let's go a little bit further, right? It says Kadosh, category number 2, right? What's category number 2? That's a person who learns also, Torah. Higher level. What does that mean? He wants reward, not in Olam Hazeh. He wants reward in Olam Haba. He wants that. So what level is that? That's not the best level. It's better than this guy, right, that we just mentioned. But he still wants reward. He still wants schar. So this guy's also not so great. He's in the middle. Not bad, not great. 50-50, right? Why is that? Because really, a person should not learn Torah to get reward. That should not be, his intention. That's not really L'Shem Shamayim so much. What do you want? You want Olam Haba? What do you want to give you? Candies over there, right? What Cadillacs, some Lexus? What are you looking for over there in Olam Haba? What are you looking for? Yeah, okay, Olam Haba is more spiritual. But you want reward, you want sachar? No, that's not the way to go. Right? Don't, as the Chazal said, right? Don't serve Hashem to get reward. That's not the reason why you should serve Hashem. So then what is the reason? This guy is not so bad. But you know what they say, right? About people like this, they learn to get reward in Olam Haba. It's not 100% L'Shem Shamayim. So therefore, this guy, he learns, he's Chacham. He could be also Tamid Chacham. You know what I mean? Very learned. But the thing is, because he's not so L'Shem Shamayim, he's not really the highest level. So therefore, it says in Zohar Kadosh, Halacha is not like him. Listen to this, right? So what does that mean? Even though he learns Halacha, you know what I mean? But the Halacha, they don't paskin like him, the Halacha. He doesn't have that level, that level of L'Shem Shamayim, that the Halacha should be like him. Like they say, Chazal say something incredible in the Talmud. They say, we had Shaul, right? We talked about this yesterday. And we had David. We had two different kings, right? So they say, the Gemara says something incredible, right? What was the difference between Shaul and David? Shaul was big Chacham. David was also big Chacham. Gedolei Ador. They were both Gedolim. Gedolei Ador. But they say, Halacha was like David, but not like Shaul. They didn't make the Halacha like Shaul. You understand? So Shaul, he was big, but he was not on the level of David. David Halacha was like him. Whatever he would paskin, they agreed with him. The Bet Din agreed with him, The Rav Chachamim agreed with him. With Shaul, they didn't agree with him. They said, okay, very nice, but we don't paskin like that. So that's the difference, right? So what's the difference between this, right? This guy, as we said, right? He's learning to get rewarded on Olam Haba. He's not really on such a high level. So therefore, halacha is not like him. They don't paskin like him, halacha. Why is the halacha not like him? Why? You know why? Because he doesn't go into the depths of the Torah. He's not so deep into the Torah. He's not L'Shem Shamayim. He's not on that level. That's level number two, right? Now we got the highest level, right? Level number 3. What is that? We're talking about somebody, who's not learning for reward. He's learning L'Shem Shamayim. So by the way, what does it mean L'Shem Shamayim? Lishma, right? Limud Lishma. What does that mean? You're learning L'Shem Shamayim. What is your motivation? Anybody know? So it says the Gaon Mevina, you know what it is, your motivation? Lifsok halacha le'amito. To get to the truth of the halacha, to get to the emet of the halacha. You have to go very deep for that, You have to study very deep. You can't be just like one of these guys, these rabbis, right? In the morning, after Shachrit, what do? They open up Yalkut Yosef, right? And they read some halachot, right? Halacha number 1, halacha number 2. This is not the depths of the halacha. To read some Kitzur, Yalkut Yosef, that's not the depths. So that's not exactly the way to learn halacha. Halacha is you have to go deep. You have to go into the reasons. And when you go deep into the reasons of the halacha, you're learning L'Shem Shamayim, not to get reward. That's not your intention. You want to get to the truth. That's what you're looking for. Emet. You want to get to the emet. If that's your intention, so then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you're mine. You belong to me. You're with me, You're my boy. You're my kid. Because that's what I'm looking for, people like this. So you know what it is, right? The people like this, though, listen to this, who are learning L'Shem Shamayim, what happens is, when they start to learn in the yeshiva and the kollel, they go, right? They learn L'Shem Shamayim. You know what happens, right? Usually they're poor. They don't have any money, They can't support themselves. So they need, their cousin, to support him, his uncle, or maybe something from the government, right? Some stipend he's going to get, He's poor. He needs help. He can't support himself. Why? Because a person like this, who's L'Shem Shamayim, Hashem says, I want you to learn Torah in poverty. Not with wealth, not with osher and kavod. You're not on the left side. You're on the right side. You're going to Olam Haba. You're Ben Olam Haba. That's not for you. To get over here, Olam Hazeh. to enjoy Olam Hazeh. Why? What's the reason why? Because if you enjoy Olam Hazeh, in this world too much, you won't want to learn any more Torah. Sit all day. You want to go and take vacations. And jump over here, jump over there. Right? Go to places. Okay, you're gonna get distracted because you got so much money. You don't want to sit and learn anymore. You have no motivation. So Hashem says, listen, my little child, don't worry. I have what to give you. I have what to give you. Don't worry. But now I want you to go. In poverty. And learn Torah Lishma. No money. Just sit in the Beit Midrash, lock yourself in, and learn all day, right? One day after the other. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. That's what I want from you. But here's the thing, right? In the end, though, what happens is, these rabbis who learn like this, really, L'Shem Shamayim, Lishma, they get rich, in the end. Right? That's what happens. Hashem says, you learned now, you sat for 40 years, you learned the whole Torah, now I'm going to give you wealth. But here's the difference, right? I'm going to give you wealth, but you don't have to work for it. You don't have to go to the stock market, bitcoins, you don't have to do hedge funds. You don't have to do any of that. You don't need 47th Street. I give you for free, Why? Because you sat and learned for 40 years. Now I give you everything for free. No work, right? That's what it says in the Mishle, right? Again, what does it say there? Listen to this. This is the Chacham Chacham. It says, Birkat Hashem hita ashir. Right? The blessing of Hashem, that's what makes you rich. You don't need to work. You don't need to do business and go to Hong Kong, and go here and go there. Shanghai, and go here. You don't need all that. If you learn the Torah all your life, Hashem says, listen, I don't want you going around here and there. Sit and learn. I'll give you for free. Nothing. And that's why it says, right, in the pasuk like this. Birkat Hashem hita ashir. The blessing of Hashem will make you rich. Lo tavi etzev ima. That's what it says, right? What does that mean? Lo tavi etzev. It won't bring you any sadness. So meaning what? You won't have to, go around, be sad, traveling here, traveling there, going to Manhattan, right? Gainam, right? One time I asked my friend, who came from Israel. He went to Manhattan, So I asked him. I said, no. What do you think about Manhattan? He says, Shara Gainam. It's like the gates of hell over there, right? What do you think it is over there? Gainam is over there. So Hashem says, I don't want you to go to Gainam to make money. I give you. Don't worry. Sit in where you are. I give you. That's what it says, right? About Rabbi Akiva. Shisha drachim he'ashir Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva became, towards the end of his life, when he got older, he became very wealthy. 6 ways. Hashem made 6 miracles for him. To get wealthy without any work. Why? Because Hashem said to him, listen, you worked for me, I appreciate that. I'm going to give you everything for free. Right? On the house. So what happened? Says the Gemara, right? There were 6 things that happened over there. I'll just tell you a couple of them, right? I don't want to keep you here all night. One, it says that, right, Kalba Savua, who was his father-in-law, after he realized, Rabbi Akiva became a gadol in Torah, right? He gave him all his money, right? All his wealth. He left him everything. Right? Kalba Savua was milliardaire. So he told Rabbi Akiva, oh, you became Chacham, huh? Oh, I give you all my money, everything. Everything is yours. Milliardaire. So Rabbi Akiva became milliardaire overnight. Like this, right? There was also other things that happened to him. 6 miracles that happened. Like this, and became wealthy. So Rabbi Akiva became a milliardaire without any work. Why? Because he worked for Hashem. So this is the highest level, you see. A person who learns like this, L'Shem Shamayim, and he doesn't mind, waiting, Hashem will give him the pras later. Later. Wait. 40 years, 50 years, I'll give you later. Wait now. Hashem says, yeah, okay. You waited, now I give you for free. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'amen. רבי חנן השומר, עשה קדוש ברוך הוא וזאת בסדר, ולפיך כי באו להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר בני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.